Hello? No. I'm just exhausted.
Hey, is this just on YouTube, not Charter anymore?
Yes, I believe so. I don't think we have,
There's no station.
I don't think we have charter anymore.
Okay.
No, it's still there.
It is?
I thought it was on both.
Ah,
It still streams to Charter and it streams through to YouTube through the,
So it is both? Yeah, I wasn't sure.
last week it wasn't working, but it's fixed now.
okay. We'll call to order the Washington Historic Preservation Commission on Tuesday, January 22nd,
Doing
2019. I have the roll call, please.
Carolyn Witt,
Here.
Steve Strubert,
Here.
Brian Bogue, Rick Hop,
Here.
Danielle Grotwheel, Jamie Holtmeyer, Andrew Clary,
Here.
Bridget Kelch, Joe Holtmeyer,
Here.
Mark Hydrich,
Here.
Susan Waterman. Here. Sal Maniaci,
Here.
Tom Nelden.
Okay, thank you. If you'd all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hope everybody perused. We have actually 2 sets of minutes to approve since we didn't have a quorum in November. So if anyone remembers vaguely, can we do them both in one motion?
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
Terrific. Well, if I have a motion, or if anybody has any discussion? Oh, and Penny is here. Sorry. Editorial comment. Hi, everyone. Was there a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November and December.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, terrific. Before we get started, I would like to thank Susan Waterman for being our liaison and coming and being supportive and listening and being an advocate. And we're sorry to lose you, but wish you well in your new endeavors.
Thank you.
And so I wanted that in the minutes. That's official.
Officially appreciate.
She's officially appreciated. One has to take everything, all the good news you can get, you know. Okay. Okay, under new business, Phase 2 of the International Shoe Company Factory Survey. And we have our expert here.
Actually, phase 3.
3, yeah.
I
The-
know.
The
The
third
end.
and final. This is the end.
Yes.
And this is so far the smallest. So this will be 36 acres, 140 properties or resources so far, in comparison to phase 1, which was 155, and phase 2 is 194. So we're getting down to the end. And so with the end, we're going to be looking at the kind of to the south of the shoe factory, and checking out these homes and then doing comparison to phase 1 and phase 2 of kind of the types of styles built and what kind of boundaries we could do for an official historic district or what districts are plausible at this time.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah,
It's been a lot of work. That was a big area.
it has been a lot.
Wow, a chunk.
But I've already started portions of this one. I've done the western half of
So,
along Stafford, 3rd, and Horn, kind of that chunk so far. So,
Right, that's good.
yeah, we're chugging along. And then the needs for this survey are the same as last time, is if anyone comes forward and has any knowledge of the area, anyone that has worked at the shoe factory, especially if they lived in the area, and or anyone, a resident from not only just this survey, but any of the surveyed area, if they have, information about their homes, when they were built, original materials, anything like that. If they want to reach out to me, that'd be great.
Right. I don't know whether we've had anything in the newspaper recently about this. But since
I don't
we're
know, last time
starting,
that they wrote a whole story about it. We do like Facebook posts whenever we know they're starting.
good, good.
like a-
Because I think.
with the map, so people
I
know.
think there are still a few souls out there who would have stories to share, but the problem is tracking them down.
Yeah.
And,
We can talk to Greg Jones about it,
okay,
because I think it was always informative. It was never like requesting information beforehand, so.
okay.
What year did it close?
1960. It's,
That does-
well, towards the end, it struggled a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, but it was like officially like 1960.
It's funny because in some ways that doesn't sound that long ago. Anything in my lifetime doesn't sound too long ago. But some people, it's a long time, pre-birth, long time. But I know. That's why I'm in historic here. Oh, geez. Are there any questions? And we've got, payment will be forthcoming as,
Yeah. As we finish up milestones, there's a schedule on there that says when we should
right,
be making payments, so.
you know, we're good, so.
Yeah. We got our milestones covered, all that. We have a
Yep.
new person reviewing, so
Oh,
that should be fine.
good.
It's Allison Archambo, who used to work up on the third floor for a little bit.
Right,
Oh, okay.
right.
She actually, I think, took minutes for these meetings. Didn't she?
That was before my time.
I think it was right when I started, she was taking minutes for these meetings.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
she was.
if I wasn't sitting here, I probably didn't pay any attention. Because, you know, you pay much more attention.
It was with Brian. When Brian was president, yeah, because it was right when I started.
Yeah, there you go.
We had like,
Well, so,
we had like 3 months overlap, I think.
right,
Yeah.
straightforward here. Okay. Well, I thank you so much for past labor and what's to come, and we know we're in good hands.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me.
And
And if
thank
you have
you.
any questions in the meantime, always get a hold of me.
Since there is no one in the audience to contribute, but as I said, if anyone on the board here, commission has anything, I think it's pretty straightforward because this is our third go-around on this, so.
And this is
And-
primarily residential, unlike the other two, there's some like schools or some
Mixed,
businesses.
yes.
This is mainly just
Yeah,
all residential.
and it's going to be interesting to see what actually eventually comes out from this. This is going to be as an adventure.
Do we have any inclination of an area that may be eligible?
I mean, the main thing will be the shoe factory for sure. That whole complex. Everything else is a little harder to say just because with it being a shoe factory town or just being like an industrial and factory development of housing complexes, it's not really, it's just all vernacular in style and a lot of it has been altered throughout the ages, especially on the far western side for sure. Lots of alterations in siding and windows, and so it changes up a bit, and so there's been a lot of kind of zigzagging of lines, so the state doesn't like that anymore.
No.
So it's gonna, I'll have to take a fine look at it to see like what we can cobble together. Cause some of them are like, the garages have more integrity than the houses do. And I mean, it's been a little rough with that aspect and contributing and non-contributing statuses.
But at the same time, everything you're collecting is of value.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
never a waste. And
Yeah.
this information will be available.
Exactly, and
Even
it's
if
already
it's-
been great to do the comparison with the previous surveys from the 92 survey that they had before. I mean, if that
Yes.
wasn't there, like, half of the western side wasn't surveyed, so it's just like, it was not a struggle, but it was definitely harder to discern, you know, what was there, because there's no record.
Right, right. So this is good. For future generations, this is going to be a
Exactly.
gift to have.
Yeah.
Well, do we need a motion on this?
Nope, it's just a
Accept it?
close, just to accept the,
Public hearing and.
yeah, accept the
accept
meeting
it
to the minutes.
Accept it into the minutes. And thank you so much for coming out on a rainy night. I'm glad it was just
Yeah, and I'm
rain.
glad it wasn't 16 or snowing.
Yes, yes, me too.
Much better. But-
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And for
guys.
your continued good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion of changes to the Historic Preservation Commission meeting schedule.
Right, so this was brought up at the last meeting because, well, I guess there's a couple meetings in a row that we couldn't get quorum, or just throughout the year, we're having trouble with that. And we're having really decent response with email correspondence, because the whole goal is, if it's something that we know that doesn't need alterations and never can come into agreement to, we never want to hold off a building permit, since it is voluntary compliance. So we looked into the CLG requirements, so that this commission is a requirement of the certified local government for us to continue to be certified and to be eligible for grants. We have to meet 4 times a year. And so that was what was brought up last time, with how often this group wants to meet, if we wanted to make it quarterly, and then as needed, whenever something comes in. Obviously, anytime we send an email or an application out via email, any member could request a formal meeting. And again, Mondays are just our tradition. Mondays at 6 are even just our tradition. It can be any time of day. Well, you know, anytime. It can be during the working hours. I'll say that. And as long as we have it posted in the paper. I have to be here for council at any time, so I don't want you to think this is any way to try to get me to go to less meetings. So it's completely up to you guys. Whatever you think is going to maybe be more efficient and easier for people to come to, it's up to you guys. So we could do every other month and still do reports of ones that have been passed via email, you know, or we could have the 4 solid meetings starting in February, because our February is always our elections. It's just that 1 year always lands in February. So either way, whatever pattern we decide to go with, just February will always be the automatic meeting, because those are when elections, and then we'll go forward from there.
Okay, discussion on this.
I don't have a problem reducing it. I mean, we haven't had anybody present to us in person in quite a while.
Not since probably Street Side Taco, or Elijah McLean's.
Elijah's, that was the
Yeah,
last.
I was thinking for a building, but yeah, see, signage is every once in a while, and I think I would have expected, if we would have sent Elijah's out, someone would have requested that to be a meeting, most likely, because it didn't meet. Well, I would have requested that because it didn't meet it had to have overruling by this commission. So I guess we could do it case by case if it's not a quarterly meeting.
Can we keep our time slot even if we're not?
Yeah, Jamie did request that already, that we automatically have this reserved in case we just have to do it.
That
Because you only
way
need 24 hours, so we have to have it Friday by 6,
To
24.
be able to post it,
So if we decide on Friday, hey, look, we need to meet on Monday,
We could still do.
it'll be reserved.
right. But I think the email situation has
Yeah,
worked
works really
very
good.
well. Has
Yeah.
everybody been
Yeah.
happy with that?
Yeah.
Because, and I really enjoy reading what other people, the comments they make, because, you know, you learn a lot from what, somebody else sees something you don't, so.
Yep.
But I think it's working very well.
Yeah, I agree with that too. When I first joined, I was given a binder, hard copy of, I forget what it's called, the handbook. Let's just call it the handbook.
Yeah.
So I was given
The
a hard
Dream
copy of
Initiative.
Yeah, that's it. And I was able to find it online, and I have since go to it whenever we do an email review, especially if I'm like, I'm not sure. So if we could just have that sent out again, like electronic version. Of course, I saved it already, but just in case anyone else hasn't, I think that might be helpful, especially if we're leaning more towards email approval versus in council.
Yep.
Has
Or
it
in
changed much
chambers.
from that original edition that we've got?
No, actually, no, it has not changed. So that was something that PJV, we were selected, the Dream Initiative, I can't remember DREAM was an acronym, but there were 5 communities, I think, selected in Missouri that got funding for a grant, and then PJV went to each town and said, here's what you should do to preserve your historic integrity and all that, make it aesthetically pleasing. That was done in 2014, I want to say. I think so it's not too long, but that is something also in the future we want to apply for funding maybe to redo that. You know, our master plan will be up in 2023, and we already budget that. We don't use grant funds for that. So it may be a good time to just get grant, like PJV last time did our comp plan. So it may be time to add funds at that point to redo both. Just something to keep in mind. I know that's
They fit well
5 years
together.
away.
If you're looking at one, the other.
Correct,
as
yeah.
well.
And I think looking at the zoning ordinance, that pretty well spells out what we're supposed to
That
review
too.
and
Yeah.
kind of gives you a pretty good cheat sheet to follow.
Yes.
I guess, you know, as far as, are we going to set dates? I know there's some dates that nobody can ever seem to make, you know. It seems like May, there's always, Rick, you might, I mean, downtown Washington's always busy in May. We never have enough in May. I don't know.
Well, with-
Well, let's see. I mean, we would, so ideally, I mean, we don't absolutely have to do February. It's just ideally, we would do February because that's whenever elections always have been. And every 4 months out from there.
3 months.
3 months, sorry. So that would be February, May, August, November.
Well, how can we, February, June, and August is as bad with the fair. Even if it's not Fair Week, August.
Well,
August.
first Monday, it always would be.
Yeah, August.
Or,
is-
well, it'll be the
is a-
Monday before the fair always.
Yeah, but August is
I know May and July, it seems we have a lot of those Main Street conferences and
yeah.
so maybe having a meeting
Well, we
a
could,
month or two before that.
we
or
could
even
count,
That we could kind of circle the wagons and talk about.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing, a lot of constructions takes place in the warm weather months.
Do you want
You
me
know.
to go pull the last fiscal year's roll call sheet so we can see?
I think the other thing is if we're gonna reduce this, we gotta all make a
Just make
concerted
it-
effort
yeah.
of
To be
being
here.
here.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
It's
know,
not
and-
going to be perfect
Yeah.
for everybody all the time, so. But if we know.
I mean,
that
is the
first
Monday
week of
before the
August-
fair really,
Yeah, what's going on? I mean,
I don't, we have council, I mean, I don't know if the Monday before the fair is really a reason to not have it.
So you mean, that'd be in July?
that'd be.
August.
August.
August. Yeah, but the fair's the first week and we're the
It's always
Fair
starts the
doesn't
first
start
Wednesday.
first Wednesday?
Oh, we're always the third. I'm
We're-
sorry, I was
we're-
getting
we're
mine
the
mixed up
third.
with the first.
I was
That's
thinking
admin ops.
the Monday in July is before the fair,
Right,
maybe.
so August, we'd be fine.
But,
Yeah, we don't interfere with the fair at all.
So if we did it quarterly, it'd be February, May, August, and November, right?
well, how does that hit people?
It'd be July 22nd, wouldn't it?
August 22nd, or August
Right.
19th.
February, May, August,
one in
and
July.
November?
Oh, if it's.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, is that good?
Until August 7th.
7th, yeah.
February, May, August, and November.
Will we have, I know, Rick, I'm not pointing you out, but I know May with the Wine Fest, it seems like May, we never have enough people.
Well, that's the third week, is the Wine Fest is the third weekend
Or is there-
in May?
Are you going to keep it on council nights?
Yeah.
Would it stay on this?
We wouldn't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah, because it would be for the weekend.
No.
I guess the only thing that would come up if there's some kind of conference or something that would interfere, but we could slide it a month.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that won't be a problem.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah, so we can-
May 20th this year, it looks like.
Yeah, and you're right, we can't always slide it, because if you keep in mind, we just have to have 4 in a calendar. Jamie, when is the state, is it the, when do we have to turn that report in? November 15th?
The report runs from October 1st through September 30th.
So in that time period, in our fiscal year, we had to have 4. And we'd be covered already, if we didn't have a meeting until November, we've already had enough to have 4. January,
I don't remember
one again in February, we'll have 4.
This is like a report card right here.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
Yeah, here you go.
I feel like I think I know, but. Our anniversary stole November for us. Sorry, guys.
Some of these weren't.
Well, and we always have the option to have a meeting if something comes up that we need to
Yeah.
hash out or have a really effective presentation and not just an email.
Right.
So, do I have a motion on the change of meeting status?
I motion we meet the third Monday in February, May, August, and November.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion?
I just noticed August was, we had no meeting. I can't remember why.
For some reason, in August, everything just gets canceled, which
Okay.
really not necessary.
No, okay. I just noticed that whole string of ends.
Was that the year, I think that was the eclipse.
It
Might have been
was.
the
Was
eclipse.
That's it.
That was it.
Okay.
Wasn't that in,
Good memory.
was that in 18?
That was-
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
No,
that was in
that was
17.
17.
That was a 17.
Yeah, no, so we,
And maybe it was just fair stuff.
yeah.
3 weeks later.
As long as we can get this out ahead of time so we can get it scheduled and in our calendars.
Yes.
'Cause-
If, Jamie, you would get the dates and send them to everybody.
Yeah.
So then they'll know these are the dates
Gotta be there.
to save.
You can't make it resign.
And keep in mind,
Wrong
any,
words.
I mean, 4 meetings a month.
Quiet.
and then just keep in mind, anytime,
I want the ship to sink here.
Is that okay with the council people?
Oh, yeah.
Is that all right?
Less meetings.
Well, and you'll get notified as well, that you'll know
Thank you.
when you don't have to be here.
and then just keep in mind, anytime, something gets emailed to you and you think you want a discussion, just say, we'd like to, reply all, would like to have a meeting, and we can, again, if Mondays, upcoming Monday's not the best time, we can try and do anytime. We can
Right.
always
If-
reserve.
if somebody-
upstairs if we need.
If somebody's in a hurry for something, but we want more than just an email, we're pretty flexible.
Yes.
We can call a meeting.
I guess the other thing, Sal, is if something comes up like tonight with a public hearing or something that
Right.
we need to hit a schedule, we can't
Exactly.
wait 3 months.
We can do a better job with that, though, because those grants are pretty far in advance, so we can tell them, here's our next meeting, and if, we should be able to schedule it on a,
Good.
On a
good.
day- on a day we're
'Cause
gonna
you're
meet.
right. Those public, we want to be able to be late.
but hey, it happens where sometimes the state calls us and like, hey, you didn't have your public hearing, and
Tomorrow.
gotta have it, so.
Right.
And I guess if we don't have a quorum, we would have to have another meeting sometime.
Yes.
I would
Okay.
say so,
Right.
yeah.
So that puts
That-
pressure on
that will
everybody to show up.
Inspire people to attend.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, we have a motion and a second to meet in February, May, August, and November of 2019. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. I think this will be a good thing. Okay, we have several things that we already issued certificates on. Was there, do you need some sort of action from us tonight on this?
We need to actually make a motion for the
Officially
minutes
a
that we
motion.
issue the certificate.
Okay.
'Cause I don't
number-
think, we don't,
number-
Jamie, we give them the building permit, we don't give them the certificate, do we? Oh, we did? Okay, yeah. No, I mean, we have the record in the emails, you're right, so.
I save the emails, I print all those out, and I save them in their own spot, so if anyone were to say, hey, who voted, which way?
Yeah, so no, I would say we just need to accept these into the minutes.
Okay, if we will accept 204 Jefferson, 18 East Front, and 504 West Fifth into the minutes, that they were approved and received their certificate of review. And updates for historic landmark designation. I understand this is on the council agenda tonight.
Tonight, yeah, I mean, if someone wants to stay, I don't think we'll have any questions. We have the exact same conditions that we had for the cemetery.
And Oddfellows and,
Yep, and we'll let them know that it's,
do
any,
you know where that is on the agenda? Is it?
Yep.
I tried to pull it up and it wasn't online.
it's under the public hearings.
We got a new website.
It's actually,
It's in the new website.
It's on a new website.
That's it. I'm old. I don't deal well with change.
There's a new website?
There's a new
There is a
website.
new website.
Thank you. Well-
Washmo.gov.
Okay, I gotta watch that, washmo.gov. Well, I knew that was the new emails.
it's it's the second item. So there's police department reappointments and then.
Okay, well, I'll stick around.
Because my P and Z stuff, both of them got postponed, and so it goes right into the
Okay,
first three.
I'll stick around, so
So-
I rely on you to jump in there.
Yeah, I just, quickly explain what the conditions are, which, so we all remember, it's prohibiting demolition unless this commission deems necessary, or council can always repeal an ordinance
Right.
for demolition. And then mandatory review, mandatory compliance for any physical change in this, for this board. So those are the only two.
Those are good things. I mean, we're taking ant steps towards a little more oomph for our commission. Okay, so we'll have that tonight at the council. Under old business, we already covered the International Shoe Factory Historic District Survey. Education and conferences. As far as conferences go, I am signed up to go to the National Main Street meeting. They have a lot of, though being in Seattle, how much is old? Their idea of old and our idea of old, and our idea of old and Philadelphia's idea of old, it's all a perspective. But, so I was going to ask that I get some help funding that, and that is approved in higher levels. So anything they want to contribute, I'm going to submit. I've got my, I already got the airfare, which was $378 round trip
Ooh,
to
that's
Seattle.
it's cheaper than I got it.
Really?
Mine was like $390.
Well, I wheeled and dealed, and good for me. And I think it's see, I couldn't get the cheap registration. It was $400 for registration. So I figured I'd request, and whatever, if it's all right with you guys, that I do that, because that is our money. It's not just. But I figured some of us couldn't travel, and the Main Street organization has a lot of. I mean, they're really focused on preserving the historic downtown, so I feel like that is a worthwhile thing to go to. I'm also on the board. Rick and I are both on, well, he's on the foundation. So, I mean, I have a double interest in this. So if it's all right with you all, I would like to request funding, and whatever I get, whatever the city deems. We've got a chunk of cash, which does not mean that any of you, if you come up with something for your education, you know, there are things that Jamie sends out periodically that any of you could go to and get some funding for registration and lodging, if it's like in Kansas City or somewhere. Now, if it's in the Bahamas, I'm going to be suspicious.
There's 7,000 conferences.
Yeah, trust me, I won't spend all that, especially since I got the cheap airfare. So,
I'm a big advocate of e-learning or webinars, so I would look forward to having some of those as
yes,
well.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
I can't travel.
exactly. And there are a lot of good ones out there. So. Do I need a motion on that, or can I just?
No, you just turn,
Take
same as
that,
last time,
okay.
turn your receipts in. I
Have
mean,
our permission.
I appreciate that. Okay, it's kind of the wrong time of year to worry about curb appeal
Yep.
or creating history, because it's buried in snow. The Jasper House, I understand, is moving along, and apparently, I've heard rumblings that they even have a tenant forthcoming who is interested in pursuing this, so.
Did you say they have a
A
tenant?
tenant, or it's a buyer? Ah, see, I've only heard indirect, my ear to the ground is faulty.
Well, and it's not done yet, so.
It's not a
let's
done
just-
deal, but it's just, from our standpoint, all of this is good.
Yeah,
Not
someone's
only is it
interested.
being
It's
worked on, it's still there, it's being worked on, and someone is actually, I mean, it's gonna have a use, it's gonna be a tax-generating property, which is wonderful, because what we didn't need was another parking lot that would generate nothing. So I thank you all for your support of that.
Is that mandatory on that property?
It's not a TIF.
but I think didn't the bid,
Wasn't that some
think it
indentures
was.
on it?
didn't the indenture require that?
Mandatory review and
Didn't
mandatory.
you, yeah, we already looked at it.
Compliance.
Yeah, we already looked at it.
Of what's gonna be done?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, we did?
I don't remember.
didn't we?
Well, I don't know whether,
remember seeing
I
that.
So.
don't think, I don't think
remember.
we've seen a plan.
No, I haven't seen anything.
No,
That there was a review.
I don't think,
Oh.
think we did either.
Let me pull up the indentures.
No, I'm pretty sure that was part of the, that was part of the package.
What he was gonna do, but I remember.
I mean, I
No.
know there was a verbal plan.
Yeah, but
or, you
we
know,
have seen nothing.
program
Nothing
of what to
official.
do, yeah. But that might even change, right?
Yeah. But it would be interesting to see, they've got to have a architectural plan somewhere,
Depending on what is being done.
yeah. So far, it's all been internal, but eventually. And they also have, I don't know whether they've applied, but there is money available through the downtown Washington for facade We have a
Carolyn, that's, it's through the foundation. We,
Yes.
a year and a half ago, were awarded a
The NAP.
Neighborhood Assistance Tax Credit Program. And so far, we're 60,000 shy of achieving our goal. But what happens here is this money, we receive this money for these tax credits. We can then allocate them on a low-interest loan to anybody who wants to do facade improvements and window improvements on their buildings, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in downtown. Already, we have 2 on the books. We have 2 more that are waiting, and as soon as that money starts coming back to us, then we can start using that money in other projects in downtown. So it's a win-win for the whole thing, but it's through the foundation, not downtown.
Right, I'm sorry.
Is it only for commercial, or can it be for residential too?
It can be residential, yes.
One of the, I think it was the first program, or the loan that was approved was for the old Embers,
Yes.
the call center that's going in there at the corner of
Fifth and Stafford.
Stafford and Fifth. And that's amazing to see that building
Finally.
finally. I mean, yes. Little Sicily, that's right. I go way back, Embers.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Shorties.
Oh, see, you predate me there. Oh,
I was told that.
okay. Your daddy's knee, yes.
Hearsay.
That's right, that's right. Okay, then, but this is all good things. This is, and it's nice we've had a small contributing in this, this saving of the building and actually bringing it back to being a useful property. Budget report. I don't think, you said, oh, she's, we had,
We have not spent,
we did the E-Missourian. She said she paid for that out of the budget.
oh, that was for this public hearing. Yeah,
Right.
that's like,
Nothing.
right. We have not paid landmarks again since last time.
Okay, but.
I think it's every 3 milestones we have to do that.
Right, but the money's there. We also are taking a year's, not doing historic plaques this year.
No, well, in this budget year, now we are. That was last,
Oh,
that was for
that
phase
last
2, we
year.
are not.
Right, but we were targeting, according to Danielle, we were going to target existing designated, that the paperwork's already been done on, so it's not something we have to pick up. And I don't imagine there's anything on the Calvin. The Calvin is on so many agendas of committees that I see, and, there's nothing we can say much.
No,
You
there's,
have
I mean, there's nothing we could do. It's been, like eminent domain has been thrown out there, if in case it's a hazard to neighboring properties, but, I mean, what is the city gonna do if we take it over?
Exactly.
Then it's our issue, and it's our hazard, so.
Well,
But, and sorry, I texted Steve, and he's gonna be on, we're gonna get him on in February, because he got his interior permits
Yeah.
for that, and so, if we're gonna do quarterly, I'm gonna see if he has his,
that would be the time.
if we're
That
gonna do
would be
quarterly,
great.
I wanna make sure he has his exterior done by February.
Yeah, we'd like to
So.
see that. Excellent, that'll be good. That'll be worth coming for. Is there any other business?
The meeting in February would actually be on that Tuesday, right?
Yes,
Yeah, it's another Tuesday meeting.
another Tuesday meeting.
It is?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
President's Day.
Yeah, I know.
I think I
Another bank.
missed that one. So that would be
You can look it up.
the 11th. I was here.
Well, I know why you came. You didn't want to get elected. No, it'd be the 18th.
It'd be
Be the 19th.
Yeah, that's exactly why I
That's
was
why you
here.
were here. He was here because I told him if he didn't come, I'd nominate him for chair.
No, this is my seat right here.
That's right, he's
That-
He's my number one, if anybody watched Star Trek. Okay, is there any further business?
I motion we adjourn.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. The meeting is adjourned. We will meet on Tuesday, February 19th, and we will That is officers and what else do we do?
We
on-
nominate president, or chair, vice chair. Do we even have a secretary?
think so. I
Because
think-
Jamie technically
Yeah,
is the secretary in
she's
the
our
minutes.
secretary,
I think that's it.
right.
Because
So
then
it's
we
not-
just, now, we have committees for creating new history and court repeal,
Right.
committee heads.
And it'll be Susan's last meeting, so we'll be sad.
In
Okay.
February?
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
because see,
February 20th.
we won't meet again until after the election.
Oh, that's right, April. I was thinking November.
Time just marches on.
I was thinking November is next election. I was.
No, we're not talking that kind of an election. Jeez, well, thank you all for coming, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for hanging around.
Be careful out there.
Yeah.